Hey, my name is Seb, and welcome to the Theater Creepypasta. Have you ever heard of an old PC game called The Theater? Yeah, I don't think so. Probably because many people say it doesn't even exist. You see, The Theater is an old computer game released around the same time as Doom. Today, if you ever find it, it's only available on crappy bootleg CD-ROMs, which, more often than not, don't even actually contain the game. The actual legitimate copy that they say were released back in the days feature a blank cover with nothing but the sprite of what has since been named the Ticket Taker. He is simply a poorly drawn, pixelated Caucasian, bald man with large red lips, wearing a red vest over a white shirt and black pants. He is completely emotionless, though some say if you smash the disc, his face is shown as angry the next time you look over at the cover. But this is just dismissed as an urban myth. What is peculiar about the theater though, is that there is no developer named on the jewel case, nor a game description on the back. It is simply the Ticket Taker on the white backdrop and movesets. The game was initially known for its inability to install correctly. The installation process immediately locks up the computer when the user reaches the licensing agreement. Also strange about the licensing agreement for the theater is that whenever the developed studio is supposed to be named, the text is simply a black line. Anyways, most people who have claimed to own one of the original CDs say that they figured out how to install the game by simply rebooting their computer on the licensing agreement, with the disc still inside. Then they are prompted to press I agree on startup. Then they continue with installation. The game then starts up without any introduction beside a main menu that is simply the sprite of a movie theater's exterior on an empty city street. The title fades in, and then the three menu buttons. New game, load, options. Selecting options immediately crashes the game to this desktop. Load is said to not function at all, even if you do have a saved game. Nothing happens when you press it. Thus, new game is the only working menu option. Once it is selected, you are in the first person view. You are standing in an empty movie theater lobby, with the exception of the ticket taker standing in front of the dark hallway, which one can only assume leads to the theaters themselves. There's nothing to do but look at the poorly drawn, mostly illegible movie posters or approaching the ticket taker. Once the player moves towards the ticket taker, a very low quality sound clip plays saying, "Thank you, please enjoy the movie," along with the speech box saying the same thing. Then you walk into the hallway and the screen fades to black and you're back in the empty lobby and you do the exact thing again and again and again. While this may sound like a really horrible game, a number of peculiar things occur as you continue to play it. The number of times you have to continue into the hall after giving your ticket to the ticket taker before the strange events happen is unknown. Most said it's completely random and could take anywhere from your first playthrough to the 400th. What happens though has deeply disturbed some players. The first occurrence is when the player fades back in after walking in the hallway. This time they will notice the ticket taker is completely absent. The player then, without any other options, decides to walk into the dark hallway. The sound clip and text box mentioning previously still play in the absence of the ticket taker. But when the player walks into the hallways, the screen does not fade out. It goes pitch black as they walk deeper into the hall. But the player's footsteps sound clip is still playing as they continue to push the button on their keyboard. Those claiming to have played the original game reported having feeling extremely uncomfortable walking down the hallway, anticipating the whole way something horrible happening. Well, eventually the player is unable to move forward. There's nothing for a few moments before a strange sprite that is described as the ticket taker but with a swirl for a face appears and stands before the player. The original players of the game said their bodies immediately froze up and their stomachs crunched. They saw the sprite, which has been approximately named the Swirly Hat Man. Nothing happens as the Swirly Hat Man stands before them. Then suddenly a piercing screech plays as the game glitches out. This lasts for a few minutes, with the screeching being continuous. Then the players abruptly return to the lobby, with all the sounds and graphics being as they should be. The game continues normally for the next couple of cycles of entering the hallway, with a couple of the original players claiming the Swirly Hat Man would briefly appear and disappear in the corner of the screen as a brisk yelp sound effect plays. Then at some points after meeting the Swirly Hat Man, the player sees the ticket taker pacing back and forth, though there's no walking animation. His sprite's limbs are completely static, so he just hops up and down slightly as a substitute, with his eyes being wide and his mouth open to simulate a worried facial expression. Some players noted that the movie posters have been replaced with the image of the Swirly Hat Man, which causes them to immediately turn their character's head away from the posters and approach a ticket taker. Then another different, Low quality song clip plays, but the speech box contains nothing but corrupted characters that cause whatever text that would have been in the box to be completely illegible. Due to the extremely low quality of the sound, it is debated by players what exactly the ticket-taker says at this point, though it's widely agreed that he says, "Never reach the other level." Then the screen fades out again, and return the player back to their starting point in the lobby. But the ticket-taker is gone, and the hallway is blocked by a large brick wall sprite. Touching the brick wall will immediately crash the game. That's all there's to it. No one knows what the other levels are, or how to gain access to them. Nor is it known why the swirly hat man causes such acute fear in those who have seen him in the game. All the original copies of the theater have either been lost or destroyed, but the creepiest part is the fact that all of the original players of the game claim to occasionally see a few glimpses of the swirly hat man out of the corner of their eyes. And don't forget, we'll meet each other. I'll see you tomorrow.